The listening tree is a place to listen, a place to be heard, a place to grow in understanding, wisdom, and peace. Beneath the listening tree. Two sit together beneath the listening tree. One young, one not so young. Together they sit and listen. Sometimes the young ask the not-so questions about things around the tree, like, why is there a brown patch in the grass under the seat where we sit? What are those caterpillars hanging there in the air, halfway between the ground and the air, floating like magic? And why do leaves fall off the tree? And what use are earwigs? The not-so does her best to listen to the questions and to answer. The brown patch is where the grass has been worn away. Many people come here to this very place, under this very tree, to sit and listen, just as you and I do. Do you remember when you were very young, I would wheel you here in your pram? You couldn't even sit up. You would lie there and look up at the green canopy of leaves and listen to that sweet rustly noise that leaves make as though they're murmuring to each other. It was as though if we listened quietly enough, we would be able to make out what they were saying. You would stare up intently, transported, fascinated, as though you were trying to take in the shape of each leaf and its colour and its sound, as if you were trying to count it and remember it by name. And then the rustling music would overcome you, and your eyes would close amid the counting. While you slept, I continued the inspection of the overarching tree. I carried on the counting and the naming of leaves. Well, asks the young one, why do leaves fall from the trees? Not-so sighs and answers, it's what they do. First they arrive in a burst in the spring, unfurling their buds all unexpected after winter, when we think they will never arrive. They suddenly break out everywhere, all green and surprising in the springtime. Spring is, do you remember when we come to feed the ducks on the pond and they'd got a little line of ducklings bobbing along behind them? And the daddy drake had to keep going off to find where they'd bobbed off to under the bulrushes. That is the time when the leaves come out all bright and green and new, just like you. That's spring. And then the leaves grow and make this beautiful umbrella for us to shade under in the summer. And when it gets colder and you have to wear your anorak and Wellington boots for the puddles, those leaves get old and brown and orange and golden and crispy, a bit like me. And because they have collected all the sunshine and water that the tree needs, they dry out, disconnect and drop down, so that the tree doesn't have to listen to all that rustling and can go quietly to sleep for the winter. And what about the apples? Say the story of the apples. For this story has been told nearly as often as apples have ripened on the tree. And the not-so tells the story of the seed and the sapling and the apple that held the seed, and the whole story of the tree, and how to make a new tree. For the seed, though very small, knew all these things by heart, just as you have it inside you to grow from a baby into a boy, and a boy into a big boy, and a big boy into a man. I like that part, but I don't like the part of the story when you have to drop off the tree, Gran. Well, that's just how the story goes. Everything has a time and a purpose. Look at this seat we're sitting on. What do you suppose it's made from? That's right. It came from a tree that came from a seed, and now it's a useful bench for you and I to sit upon. What about the use of earwigs? Well, they eat things and tidy up the place, and mostly their use is just to have little earwigs like you. And when you next sit beneath your own listening tree, take time to reflect on these things, on the rustling of leaves and the music of silence when the leaves are still, on peacefulness and purpose, on curiosity and the patience to answer its questions, on apples and seeds and benches of usefulness, on dark patches in the grass worn away to show how many people have found answers to their questions beneath the listening tree, and on the whole great tree of humanity. Sit still and think on these things. And if you have a question that puzzles you, sit quietly under the listening tree, and the leaves will whisper an answer to you.